your biggest struggles have been, bro, in the last like 6 months?
Last 6 months, my biggest struggle would probably be just refinding myself, I guess you could say again. Because I felt like before I had it, you know, I struggled, I went to the top, and then I didn't realize that being an entrepreneur, you fall down again, and you're gonna keep falling down. But just learning how to pick myself up, and then finding clarity in my vision and in my purpose. So repurposing what I really wanted to do in my life, with my life, and surrounding myself with the right people in my life that would support me to get to where I'm going. And you know, I dealt with a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, and I think the biggest one would be overthinking. Man, like I overthink all the time, and I create so many problems for myself, and it's more just me. I realize just fighting with that inner demon, and just learning to, whenever I feel the anxiety or stress or that little negative thought come over me, just switch it right away, right? Take it, accept it, and throw it away. You know, own it and move on from it.
I like that.
Yeah, because I've struggled with like just, I don't know what it was. Maybe it's through all the experiences that I've, you know, and just fearing failing again.
Yeah.
And dealing with the stuff that I've dealt with. But now that I know where I'm going, I have clarity, and I'm not afraid to fail anymore because I know how to pick myself back up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was the highest point, and then what was that crash?
Absolutely. So, you know, honestly, the highest, it's great that you asked that, because the highest point in my life was exactly a year ago.
1 year ago?
1 year ago. I just had some things pop up on my news feed, and I was like, damn, you know, honestly, I have goosebumps talking about it, because that was literally living my best life.
Yeah.
I made it big with the company that I mentioned to you about, and I was making a lot of money. And at that time, I was in the Dominican Republic a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that.
And 7 day, it was a 7-day retreat, all inclusive, everything paid for, and no worries. You know, I think I got to a point where I was just so confident. I had no worries, no stress, no anxiety. I wasn't thinking about anything because I was just living. You know, I was just in the moment, every single moment. And then when I got away from that, that's when it became blurred again. But when I felt like, because I was, you know, it wasn't really about the money, it was just more about being fulfilled. Not having stress, you know, Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
You know, means no worries. Like,
I like that.
And I think that's what we all strive for, is that freedom.
Yeah.
That freedom, that time freedom to not worry about, you know, going to all these exotic locations and worrying about when you gotta come back, gotta go back to work. You know, of course, I did go back to a job, which I'm actually happy with, and I'm gonna take advantage of all the benefits and everything. But when I become a full-time entrepreneur again, I already know, and I felt it before, and that's that motivation to get to that point again, and then of course surpass it. Yeah,
I love
surpass
that,
it even
man.
more.
Nice. So like, so speaking back to the fulfillment, what fulfills you now?
What fulfills? Oh man, a lot of things. You know, it's stuff like this, right? I remember yesterday, it was just that moment when you said that you're just a thankful person. You know, you're grateful for everything in your life, and that I'm the same way, right? For me, like just being grateful for every moment, for every day, and like knowing that there's always going to be an opportunity to switch a negative around. That's actually one of the biggest things. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And family is obviously super important to you.
Family is definitely my biggest thing. You know, being able to provide for a more prosperous, better life for them. That's always the main thing. You know, I talked to you about the burning building example, and then also too, what it is just getting all these messages and comments and DMs every single day, saying that I've inspired someone or I've helped someone change their mindset, or I remember this kid, let me tell you a story. So this kid DMs me on my Hawaii mentor account, and he goes, hey bro, like ever since I started following you, I stopped bullying kids in my school. And
that's huge.
Yeah, this guy is 12 years old. 12 years old.
Age, man.
And like to make an impact, to leave a legacy. Right? You have an impact right here, man. Bro.
Impact.
And that's all it's about, you know, making a positive impact on someone's life so that they can do better, be better, and you just be kind to everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of, and then helping someone change their life around. That's the biggest thing. I've also dealt with someone who's dealing with suicide. Of course, you can relate.
Oh, absolutely.
And like for me, one message struck with me like to the T. That whole when you do the suicide, you don't take the pain away. You give the pain to someone else.
Yeah.
And that was like honestly one of the biggest messages I've heard.
Yeah.
And I've shared that same message to everyone that's come to me with that issue. And for me to just like, it makes me emotional because especially for you too, you understand people go through shit in their lives and we don't know what they're going through. But then when someone can be there to support you, and I want to be that because I didn't have what I am showing right now, that mentor, that guidance, that support. We didn't have that before.
Yeah.
And so because we understand that, I think that's the biggest thing. Being able to inspire others also to step out of their comfort zone. Especially we live here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Everyone's in that closed mindset. For us, we can inspire others to just get out and experience stuff, do stuff, and live life to the fullest. Because we only live once.
That's true.
We only live once. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So how did you get this positive mindset? Were you just raised in a wealthy family or something?
Absolutely not. So I can say that I absolutely had the best childhood living on Lanai, from Lanai, of course. And thanks to my parents, literally even if they didn't have much, they provided me with everything. But my mindset came, I just got tired. I got tired of working. I was working at a spa for 4 years.
Wow.
After college, which of course I'm not using my degree anymore.
Is that in the Na'i?
This was a Maui. This was Maui now. I graduated from a degree in sustainable construction technology, and then went working at a spa for 4 years. That routine lifestyle, not doing more in my life, not being fulfilled. It was just a constant cycle. You go, wake up, you go to the gym, you go to work, you sleep, eat, do whatever, and then you wait for Friday again. That whole thing, and just waiting for Friday. And ultimately, I became tired. I remember speaking to a housekeeper that was working at my resort, and I was like, yeah, so when you go retire, it's like, long more, son. How long he's working here? Almost 20 years. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, right? So that kind of was one of the things that was just, I gotta do something. If I don't do something now, then my life is gonna be the same. I'll be working here for 10 years, and I don't want that. Yeah. And then I got to a point where I was just like looking at all these guests that were coming into my hotel. These groups. Yeah. They have events and stuff, and I was like, instead of me tending to them, I want to be on their side. I want to experience, experience what it's like to be tended to at these events, getting paid to go to these resorts, and I was like, that kind of switched my mindset around. And then of course I started getting into personal growth and development. I got into entrepreneur stuff.
What was the first step? Was it a book?
Well, it was actually I got into a company. The company that I mentioned to you about. Right. They was actually the first company that mentioned reading books and why it's important to become an entrepreneur and why you should read and why you should listen to podcasts. I started with podcasting. Wow. They were doing a motivational podcast every Monday and every Wednesday, and I would listen to it every morning. Wake up at 5 because time zone, right? They're 2 hours ahead in California. Right. So I wake up early, and that would motivate me, bro.
Nice.
Instead of listening to the gym now, listening to music at the gym, I listen to podcasts.
Yeah. And
like every single day, of just that constant positive flow in my brain just switched, and I became this like I didn't even know. I never would have thought I would be talking about mindset and stuff like that before, personal growth and development. Because I was one of those that was like, whatever, you just talk too much, that kind. And I didn't really get it until I experienced my whole, that was just tired, and I wanted to change for the better for my life. And once I did that, once I changed my mindset, it changed my life.
So speaking of podcasts, what are the podcasts you're listening to now?
So my favorite podcast now is Mr. Jay Shetty, the monk.
Oh yeah, there you go. I love that guy.
Right, and then what is crazy is I've come across a lot of his content in the past, on Instagram, Facebook, but I've never really dug into his stuff and really known him until just recently. Until was like starting. Remember I told you I was reconnecting myself, refining myself, and I found him.
Right.
And it came at the right time because he was just spitting golden nuggets through the experiences that I was going through at that time, and I was like, man, this is so relatable. And so that one, of course, one of my other favorites is Gary Vee. He just raw, and he just says it how it is, and I love it.
Love him too.
I love it. His energy. When I'm feeling like when I'm sometimes just walking around on Waikiki or Honolulu, put them on and I'd be over there just motivated. I'd be happy. Yeah. You know, just smiling all the time. So those two are probably the two ones that are focusing on right now.
Nice.
Yeah. Of course, there's others like Tony Robbins. You got your Grant Cardone. You know that business.
What about books? That if somebody asked you what book?
Yeah. So I do have a book right now that
Nice.
right now, this is actually a really good book, guys. It's called The Go-Giver. You can get it on Amazon for cheap. But this is a really good book. It talks to you about a business idea, a simple business idea that actually became a very big business. So The Go-Giver, that's really good. Yes.
Wow.
Talks about just giving more than you're expecting. And providing more value than you're wanting to receive in payment. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people, when they're focused on money, and then they lose track of their main purpose, which is to serve others and give and be kind to others, right? So,
where do you see yourself, man? Where do you see yourself in like just 12 months? 12 months. This time next year. So we know where we were 12 months last year.
Right.
Where do you vision yourself?
12 months from now, I see myself already getting, of course, on top of my fitness game again.
Love it.
Doing vlog, continuing so my main purpose right now is my YouTube, building up my YouTube, my following on YouTube, and just continue to share my experiences and knowledge with others. Of course, mainly here in Hawaii, but throughout the world, right?
Yeah.
And then coming to see you more often. I think for me, one of my biggest passions too, of course, is travel, and seeing myself just being as that travel person. Inspiring others all over the world, where I can share my fit and then work out at all these different gyms, you know, and then documenting my journey along the vlogging, and just having fun. You know, so my taglines for the things that I'm doing now is inspire, educate, and entertain. If I can do that in 12 months and just do that freely, no worries, and just be how I was back in Punta Cana, living my best life, that would be the best life ever.
That's awesome. You're already doing that now, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Now.
Appreciate it. Just gotta scale it up now. On a bigger scale and inspire more people, because you can there's always more people out there that need help. So
absolutely,
if you can find those people, man, that'd be great too.
Let me know how I can help that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Shout outs or coming to Maui or whatever it is, man.
Because our connection is everything.
Yeah.
And we're in alignment with so many different things, you know. So I appreciate you for coming and taking the time to interview me, and look forward to more of this in the future.
Yes, sir.
My guy. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, you.